damage that was sent to destroy me. They wanted to make sure that the energy was disconnected, that the soul was disconnected.
Some disturbing details to add about Angie Stone's crash. So it just came to my attention after watching a video that people are reporting hearing.
To find out a lot, excuse me guys, a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. I knew it was an attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me. However, I was treated and God healed me, cleared up after 2 weeks.
Y'all, it looks like there's more to Angie Stone's tragic car crash than we thought. The police just accidentally leaked some shocking evidence that proves the accident was planned. There have been whispers on the internet about how some things regarding Angie's tragic passing don't add up. However, it wasn't until very suspicious footage started making the rounds on TikTok that people really started asking questions. How come Angie was the only one who died in that crash? How come we've never heard from the other survivors? What happened to the truck driver? Why hasn't he been arrested or investigated? Why is no one looking into the trucking company? Why isn't the family asking any questions? Why are all the videos talking about Angie being taken down?
Did the truck driver get out and start rendering aid too? Because when you hit somebody, you're supposed to start rendering aid. Or that's a crime within itself.
Everybody made it out alive. So against the theory, she did not die in the van. The van was not her cause of death. Something happened to her when she got outside of the van, when she crawled outside the van, and many witnesses have confirmed she crawled outside that van. It looked like everybody made it out alive. So against the theory, she did not die in the van. The van was not her cause of death. Something happened to her when she got outside of the van, when she crawled outside the van, and many witnesses have confirmed she crawled outside that van. Afterwards, something happened.
It all seems very suspicious, and folks are now wondering if there's a massive cover-up by law enforcement to protect the people who actually unalived Angie. The deeper you dig, the shadier the whole thing starts to look. And trust me, we're going to dive into everything.
Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a very, very, very hard worker. I aim to please. I try very hard not to cancel any shows if I don't have to. Shy of it being something God called, or, an unwarranted death or a health issue of some kind. I generally try to make all my dates.
Angie and her crew were returning from a Mardi Gras concert in Alabama in a Sprinter van. They had been in the middle of filming a new project when they decided to take a break. While they were on I-65, the Sprinter carrying Angie and her crew overturned, but the 9 people inside were still relatively okay. However, before they could find their way out of the Sprinter or call for help, a semi-truck rammed into them, resulting in a fatal crash. At the age of 63, Angie sadly passed away. She was the only casualty. At first, people accepted that she had died due to the crash. However, it didn't take long for people to start connecting the dots and asking questions. In one of her last posts on Instagram, Angie left this eerie message. "I've just discovered something that's been hidden in the dark for too long. My publishing was stolen. And guess what? I know exactly who did it. But don't get it twisted. I'm coming for you. All the dogs who thought they could take what's mine. Trust I'm ready." Just like Jamie Foxx said, what had happened was, well, now it's my turn to share my testimony. It's a new chapter, and you can bet the truth is coming to light. Stay tuned.
She didn't come out, she didn't stop it, she didn't expose it, but I'm hearing secretly they just asked her, can you not put all the videos out, please? And I hear that same lady, she is getting her lawyers and she's getting her people together. They said this trucking company has a bad reputation of doing people wrong. They said this is the same trucking company that hit Tracy Morgan. And Tracy Morgan, I guess, sued the truck or the insurance company over $90 million.
This made a lot of people start asking questions about what really went down with Angie. I mean, it's been a few weeks since the tragic accident that took her from us, and still, no investigation, no mugshot, no updates, no official statements. Nothing. It's like she died, and nobody cares about finding out the truth. Or better yet, someone is actively trying to cover up the truth about the accident. How else do you explain the timing of this crash, right when she started exposing UMG and Clive Davis? Yeah, it's not a coincidence. Oh, but that's not even the best part. Wait until you hear directly from a witness who saw the whole thing go down and barely missed getting crushed by the truck that ultimately unalived Angie. First, there was this man who came online claiming that Angie did not actually pass away from the initial crash. According to him, there was a Caucasian woman on the scene who helped Angie out of the minivan. Then a man came along in the truck and hit her.
I have some disturbing details to add about Angie Stone's crash. So it just came to my attention after watching a video that people are reporting hearing pop, pop, pop before the crash. Sounds like we may have a case of road rage. Either one, road rage, or two, you know what. Now, it seems that the pop, pop, pop may have been gunshots to the tires, and that will cause the van to lose control.
According to the woman, the 18-wheeler had no business being at that intersection at that time. Logistically speaking, the accident didn't make sense. But here's the creepy part. Allegedly, there's a recording of the accident from the camera that's usually installed on long-distance trucks.
After driving the 6 hours home, showering, and processing it all, here's the story. About 4 a.m. on Saturday morning, me and my daughter were driving to Charleston, South Carolina for her Sweet 16 birthday getaway. We came up to a truck with a trailer and its flashers were on, so we slowed down some, and that's when I noticed there was an overturned vehicle in the fast lane. And it looked like it just happened. I pulled over, I put my flashers on, and I told my daughter to stay in the car. And I ran over, it was a van, and I ran over, and there were so many people in this van, and they were just trying to get out. And I asked if they'd called the cops, and they said, we're just trying to get out. And they were helping this woman out off the side of the van, and I grabbed her hand and I helped her get down, and she seemed out of it, and I was holding her hand and she was wobbling around.
The footage would have captured everything, showing exactly how the accident happened. According to sources, the accident footage was initially uploaded online, but no matter how much you dig now, you won't find it. All traces of that video have been wiped from the internet. What's even weirder is the fact that Angie's family members haven't really said anything about searching for the truth.
Then the next thing I know, I flew and I fell down to the ground, and it felt like something not ran over me but brushed over me. Like something just swiped over my body, and I got up and I could hear screaming, and I just focused in on one screaming, and it was my daughter. And all I could do was run across the highway and tell her to get back in the car. She had to move the car because if somebody else hit us, it could hit her. So she moved the car farther up the interstate, and I called 911, and they said they were on their way. And then all I could think to do was get to my daughter. And that's all I could do in that time. And when I was walking to my daughter and we're really running, the best that I can do, I was in so much pain. My chest felt like an elephant was sitting on it. My legs were so hurt and sore. And I looked up, and there was an 18-wheeler that had crossed the median into oncoming traffic. And I knew that's what hit me and ran over. And brushed over me was the 18-wheeler. And my daughter's freaking out. She'd already called my husband by then and my father-in-law. And I just tell her we've got to get to the hospital. I can't breathe. It was so hard to breathe. I'm gonna post a video of the 18-wheeler after I left the hospital, driving back through to get to my husband and my son. I will not be posting the vehicle in the video because somebody did pass away. They did. And I won't be posting that for respect for their family. I'm sore, I'm bruised all on the right side of my body. I'm very stiff everywhere. But I will keep you guys updated. And the video is gonna come at the end, okay? Hug your family tight. Hug your family tight. Bye.
After her kids released a statement announcing her death, the only other thing they've done is come online and ask people to crowdfund for funeral expenses. It's strange when you think about it. You'd expect Angie's kids to at least be curious about what really happened. Their mom was in the middle of suing industry giant UMG and working on her biopic, where she planned to tell the unfiltered truth about her career wins and struggles. The fact that she mysteriously got into an accident should at least raise suspicion. Also, witnesses apparently heard loud pops before the accident.
She brings me a lot of joy. She brings both Bobby and I a lot of joy.
She will be missed, that's for sure.
I still feel her everywhere. She's still around me. And that's what keeps me comfortable, is that knowing that my best friend, you know, my everything is still with me.
She's in much better hands now.
Be here in the Atlanta area. That same source also tells me that it will be a celebration of sorts. The Sweet 16 or the prom that she never had a chance to attend. And then after the funeral, her body will be flown to New Jersey, where she will be laid to rest next to her mother.
Then, a video started circulating of a woman claiming to be the one who helped Angie. According to her, she and her daughter were driving along the highway when they noticed Angie's overturned van. She pulled over and went to investigate, but when she got there, she was shocked to find so many people inside the van, screaming for help. The woman claimed that when she arrived, everyone was still alive, including Angie. She helped Angie out of the van, and as they were trying to figure out the next step, she suddenly felt something brush past her. Before she could collect herself, she realized what had happened. A truck had seemingly come out of nowhere and hit Angie, unaliving her, well and less. And you didn't hear this from me. The rumors are true that Angie's kids did ask questions but were threatened to keep quiet, or else they would be next. We've seen this happen with black legends in the industry and their children. Whitney Houston, anyone? Remember how Whitney's daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, passed away just a few years after her mother? Like Whitney, there were so many red flags surrounding her death. The initial autopsy found no obvious underlying cause of death and no significant injuries. She was definitely tested for drugs and alcohol during that first autopsy, and they supposedly didn't find anything. But for some reason, a second autopsy was done, and suddenly the police announced that her body tested positive for alcohol, sedatives, and other substances.
Next thing you know, she's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the dealer in that gave her the shot. Leola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beaten. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub, like she was beat up.
Seems fishy, right? Word on the street is that Bobby Christina had to be taken out because she was asking too many questions about her mother. She never accepted the official story that Whitney ended things or overdosed. However, y'all know, asking too many questions can get you unalived. Who knows? Maybe Angie's children took the hint and decided to move on with their lives instead of risking everything in the search for the truth. Speaking of Whitney, a lot of people can't help but notice the similarities between her story and Angie's. Black girl gets noticed by a big record label and becomes a star. Black girl gets entangled in some scandal, either drugs or a failed romance. Black girl gets older and starts planning to expose the people who set her up or stole from her. Black girl dies mysteriously, and everyone calls it an accident. Whitney Houston, Kim Porter, Aaliyah, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, and now Angie Stone. With Whitney, it was drugs. According to reports, Whitney's drug addiction wasn't an accident. The people around her, especially her label bosses, didn't force it on her, but they sure made it easy for her to get access. When you have those substances just lying around, it's only a matter of time before the stress of being a celebrity gets to you. Maybe you decide to just use a little, then a little more, and a little more until it becomes a full-blown addiction. So when Whitney started talking about telling her story, exposing Clive Davis, and reclaiming her power, they realized she had become a liability. And what did they do? They took her out and blamed it on the drugs.
And all I can say is a lot of the promoters, people that would book me, all of a sudden they don't want to book me because I'm problematic because of possibly the damage that was sent to destroy me. They wanted to make sure that the energy was disconnected, that the soul was disconnected, that the tie that binded us was destroyed. So the enemy did a personal attack on me. So there I was fighting tooth and nail to at least maintain my stability in the industry. No filter.
With Aaliyah and Kim, it was the toxic romantic relationship pipeline. Two super talented women who ended up in the hands of monsters. When they decided enough was enough and wanted to tell their stories, they died mysteriously. A sudden pneumonia infection that came out of nowhere. A plane crash that could have been totally avoided if even one person had done their job properly. It doesn't make sense. And then you have Left Eye, who also had issues with, wait for it, Clive Davis. Left Eye was working on a documentary before she passed away. And although she never explicitly